The hunt is on for billions of dollars that former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak may have stashed around the world. Estimates of Mubarak's personal wealth run from about $1 billion to as high as $70 billion. And that is billion with a B. Officials in Britain have reportedly launched an investigation into Mubarak's potential holdings there. Switzerland has already frozen assets that may be linked to Mubarak. Alex Kingsbury is Associate Editor for National Security for U.S. News and World Report. Alex, good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Let's talk about where the reports of his wealth are coming from and how he allegedly got all this money and how much people really think he has.
Sure. I mean, if you consider the position of president of the Egyptian government, I mean, he sort of sat atop a massive pyramid, if you will, of graft and corruption that over 30 years just capitalized on a lot of the wealth coming into Egypt. So if a foreign business would come in, for instance, and want to do business in Egypt, maybe a cut would have to go to somebody affiliated with the regime or with the Mubarak family. So, this was just a massive amount of corruption over time that was able to amass such a fortune.
It's actually incredible. But this is all around the world, allegedly, and it's not just cash sitting in, numbered Swiss banking accounts. I mean, we're talking about properties, too?
It depends on who you want to believe. I mean, the opposition groups for years have tried to pressure international courts to go after Mubarak and some of his holdings. But if you're the head of state in some of these countries that don't distinguish between the personal and the state-owned, I mean, if he owns a fleet of jets, are those the property of the state or property of his family or closely aligned military generals, for instance? So shifting out who owns what and what can be recovered by the Egyptian government are going to be challenges that will drag on for years.
Is there any concern that the billions of dollars that the U.S. has given to Egypt, and certainly a lot of it going to the military, but also some social and welfare programs, that some of that was siphoned off by Mubarak?
Well, I think there's definitely a possibility of that. I mean, as I said, it was sort of, any business that was going through and being done with the government, people in the military were getting a cut of it, and that includes billions of dollars that the U.S. sent over there in terms of both technological transfers, but legitimate business as well that was done with companies in Egypt.
Just put this in perspective, Mubarak may have $70 billion. Have the Daily Beast reporting that the average Egyptian earns about $6,000 per year. Almost 20% of Egyptians earn less than $1 a day. Any chance that the average Egyptian may at some point, with a trickle-down theory, get their hands on some of this money that he allegedly has?
Well, I mean, the recovery, as I said, could go on and drag out in the courts for years. But, that was definitely a concern for the people that were protesting. This is a leader who appeared to thrive off vast amounts of wealth that the people in the country couldn't share, and a motivation that we're seeing in other countries around, Yemen as well, and in Tunisia.
Okay. Alex Kingsbury, it's always good to talk with you. Thank you.